Hey guys, it's Liz here. Today I'm doing a Guidance from the Angels pick a card reading. The first card will show which angel is giving the guidance, and the following cards will get into what the issue is, and the last card will be the angel's guidance for dealing with the issue. The issues that come up may be issues you're already dealing with, or will reveal what you may go through this month. Keep in mind this is a general reading, so you may not resonate with every part of the reading. So this is group 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go ahead and use your intuition to pick a group, and feel free to pause the video. Once you've chosen a group, skip ahead using the timestamp below. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so let's get started with group 1. Alright, so this is the Archangel Azrael. He assists with transition, transformation, and fear of change. Alright, so right here I see a fear that I see that you may have a fear that you're on the wrong path or you're feeling lost. You could be going through a big transition right now or in the near future. You might hear my cat meowing in the background. That would be Misty. Let's get on with card 2. Okay, so another one about life purpose and being on your path. So I see that you're either seeking or questioning your life purpose. This is going back to that being on your path and maybe questioning if you're on the wrong path, or if you're feeling lost. You're not really sure what your life purpose is. I also see with this that you're currently, or again soon to be, there could be a possible change in career or relationship. Okay, next card, rejection. Okay, so this is your block. This is what I see. This is what's blocking you. So right away, card is rejection, so I see a fear of rejection, a fear of the quote-unquote what ifs around your life purpose or making this big change. So if you are thinking of changing careers or making a big change in your relationship or even moving, that's a big one. I see a lot of fear around the what ifs. You know, what if this goes wrong, or what if things don't work out, or along those lines, just what if. You know, what if I'm making the wrong choice? I also see a fear of judgment and others getting in your head, because you see all these, I don't know if you can see that too well, but this guy has, you know, all these voices and opinions going on in his head. So maybe you're in a place of, you know, optimism and you think everything's going to work out, but then you have all these other people and their doubts coming in and getting in your way. All right, next card. You know what? Oh, we'll do them both because they're both. Oh, I forgot. This is a big one. Okay, so we got. Let's see. Let's move this around so we can see it well. So we got 7 of. Oh. Move this up. Okay, so we have 7 of Cups here. Okay, and then we have the Lovers here. Two of Wands. Ace of Wands. And 3 of Wands. even just move these up a little bit so you can make sure you can see them really well. Okay, so starting with this Seven of Cups, I see right away I got a feeling of you're feeling overwhelmed. I see a fear of the unknown. Again, going back to what we were doing over in this area with the, what if I choose wrong? A lot of the what ifs. Okay, and so now with the Lovers, I see you feeling tempted to choose what's easy and comfortable because it's what you know, right? So you have this fear of the unknown right here, and maybe that's a little paralyzing to you, and so you're tempted to just stay where you are. Even if you're unhappy where you are, it's sort of like, sticking with the devil, so you're tempted to just stay where you are, even if you're unhappy. So then with the Two of Wands, again with the choice, there's a choice here, so choosing between staying where you're comfortable and going outside your comfort zone to learn and experience new things. And then with the Ace of Wands, I see a want or willingness to have those new experiences, to feel inspired and to grow in whatever area. So maybe you want to expand your knowledge, or you want to expand your experience, or you want to grow, have personal growth. Sorry about that, my camera shut off. Okay, so as I was saying, with this Ace of Wands that you want to have new experiences, but it looks like you're afraid of the what if. Now with the Three of Wands, I see so either careful planning and possibly overthinking. I see you kind of being or feeling like you're just stuck in the problem, but you're not actually problem solving. You're just thinking of all the ways that things could go wrong and not really focusing on, okay, well, if they do go wrong, what can I do to either get ahead of it, or if it does happen, something that I couldn't have possibly thought would go wrong goes wrong, how could I work through it? What could I do? Could I tap into creativity? Could I ask for help from someone else, right? So if shit hits the fan and things, worst possible case scenario happens, what could you do? But also going back to the overthinking. So when we're talking about the overthinking, it's not necessarily overthinking the problem solving aspect. It's really just the overthinking of what could go wrong. Okay, and the final card, this is going to represent the actual guidance. Okay, so we have Power here. So right away I'm seeing a need to trust and believe in yourself and in the universe. I see sort of an obvious thing happening here with the stars, so shoot for the stars, and don't play small, don't play safe necessarily, right? Like don't do anything that is going to cause you or someone else harm, of course, but don't hold back. So if you're thinking about getting into this new relationship with somebody, but you're not sure if it's going to work out, put yourself out there. Just go for it. Same with if you're thinking about making a change up in your career or anything like that. This is really encouraging you to just go for it. I also see embracing your power. So don't dim your light for other people. So here we have, people and their doubts and, getting in this guy's head and getting in your head, saying, putting all these fears and doubts, be small, be safe. And what if this, what if that? Or even you could have some haters out there just saying, you're not good enough, or who do you think you are, right? Just let that go and just let your light shine. I'm also getting, it's safe to own who you are and your gifts, right? So like we were saying before, just a minute ago, with people getting in your head and, haters and doubters, this is saying, don't listen to them, just embrace who you are and your gifts, and don't worry about what other people think. So I guess to kind of sum up, it's really just, this is, Azrael here is really just suggesting that you get out of your own head, block out the doubters, and just take the leap. All right, so that's all I have for you guys. We'll be moving on to card number 2. All right, so now we're on to group 2. Okay, we have the Archangel Ariel here. She assists those that are feeling disconnected or different or quote unquote other. Now, you may also have some strong political, environmental, and or animal welfare views. All right, so the next card is Author. Okay, so going back to what we were saying with Archangel Ariel here and having strong political, environmental, and animal welfare views. So it sounds like you are either very outspoken about your views or you struggle to speak out of fear of judgment. I also see here, I'm also getting something about, for, if there may be a green witch who's watching. So this is for you, that if you're a green witch that is thinking about or is in the process of writing a book about your craft, I see that you may be struggling with a fear that it won't be well received. I'm also seeing I'm also seeing here, just for everyone, not just any green witches who are watching or witches. I also see a fear to express yourself and communicate your thoughts and feelings. As a result, I see you're having a hard time connecting with others. Right, the next card. Very floral, these two. Okay, so this is a what do you desire? So I'm seeing straight away, I'm seeing a lot of fears with this particular card. So I see fear to do what you desire. I see a fear to connect with others, as we were talking about with this Author card. And going back to what do you desire? I see that you have a fear of going after what you want. You may be hearing my neighbor's dogs barking in the background. Okay, so the next card, we'll actually do the next two. So we have Vanity and Joy. These are together. So this is kind of, I see these cards as kind of what's blocking you here. So I see with the Vanity here, I see fear of judgment. So we kind of touched on that over here as well. And I see a fear that others will think you're quote unquote militant about your beliefs, or that you think you're better than them. I know for myself, as a vegan, I know I get a instant, eye roll or, heavy sigh when I tell people I'm vegan, because they expect me to be, very sort of aggressive when it comes to, talking about veganism, and I'm really not. But some people, as soon as I say, hey, I'm vegan, that's kind of what they expect from me. It's to be very sort of aggressive and militant, and judgmental of them, and I'm not, but that's what people automatically kind of have their shields kind of go up right away, almost like prepare for battle, and that isn't always the case. But I see that there's a fear there of speaking about these things. So if you yourself have very strong either views about veganism, vegetarian, or some other political or environmental view, you might be a little hesitant to talk about it out of fear of people immediately, assuming you're going to be very aggressive, even if you're not. I also see here with the joy card that there's there's fear that you'll be judged as a killjoy, or a hippy-dippy kind of weirdo. Okay, so let's move on to the next card. And okay, so we have the High Priestess here. I'll move this up a little bit. Okay, so we have the High Priestess here. So again, there's a fear going back to that fear of people thinking that you're going to be better than them. So there's a fear of others judging you as being high and mighty, or a fear that speaking about your beliefs will come off as quote unquote preachy. Okay, so this last card is this is the guidance. This is the guidance from Archangel Ariel here. So when speaking about your beliefs, do so in an open way. So listen to the other person. Like if you're having if you're just talking to the other person, just kind of if their beliefs don't necessarily match your own, just kind of listen with an open mind, rather than reacting combatively, or aggressively. And if they kind of come at you with those shields up, kind of come back with understanding, compassion, rather than giving that energy, that negative, aggressive energy back to them. I know I've found in my personal experience that when you're open, it attracts people to you, and when you're defensive, it pushes them away. So if if you come out the gates aggressive with your beliefs, it's off-putting for people. They just immediately want to back away, or in other cases they'll come back, swinging, so to speak, not literally, but they'll come back in that same aggressive way, or in some cases, like I said, when I tell people, oh, I'm vegan, like, oh, I can't eat this, I'm vegan, immediately their shields go up, and they might, not necessarily come at me with aggression or anything or combative at all, but immediately, they're just kind of, the shields go up, right? And then if I were to respond in that same way, it's going to make for a really unpleasant time. So it's better, I've found personally, it's better to kind of come at people with that compassion and understanding, and just, kind of explain your point of view from an open place, and then listen to their point of view from that same open place. All right, so that's all I have for you guys. We'll be moving on to group number 3. All right, so now we're on to group number 3. All right, so your message is coming from Archangel Chamuel. Chamuel assists with low self-esteem and feelings of quote-unquote not enough. Environmentalist. Okay, so with this card I see negative self-talk and limiting beliefs. I see feeling like your own worst enemy. I see feelings of feeling unworthy and undeserving. I see self-neglect or feeling neglected. So maybe either recently, maybe in your job or relationship, you felt neglected or you feel neglected, or maybe as a child, you kind of had these feelings of being neglected or abandoned, and that kind of has created, these feelings of unworthiness and undeserving now. Okay, so the next card, the heart chakra. Okay, so I'll just move this. Okay, so again, in relation to this environmentalist card here, with I see feeling unloved, seeing self-dislike, with her hand over her heart like that in this position. I kind of see that as having a closed heart. You're protecting your heart from hurt. I see deep sadness with this card in this position. So again, maybe you were hurt as a kid, or even recently, and so you're protecting your heart, or you're feeling this deep sadness. Or you might even be, with this protecting your heart from hurt thing, you might even be, rejecting of, falling in love or being in a relationship or anything like that, because maybe you've associated that, with pain, that you're just like, I don't want to be in a relationship. All that's going to do is bring me harm or bring me hurt. What else? Or it's, when you close your heart off like that, when you're trying to avoid pain, or even your own pain, right? Like, just not pain that came from outside, but, when you're having these, negative self-talk and all that, when you close yourself off from the bad, you also cut yourself off from the good. So you might be feeling very isolated as a result. Okay, so let's go with the next card. So this one is, I see this as kind of what's kind of blocking you right now. And so straight away, we have despondence here, but then when you marry it with, this environmentalist and the heart chakra, I see, and with this like deep sadness and self-dislike, so I see depression, I see hopelessness, I see maybe even going through a stage of grief right now. So maybe again you feel like you came out of a relationship and you're kind of grieving that right now. Okay, so moving on to card number 4. So we have the King of Cups here. Now again, in relation to the previous cards, I see this as, I see being emotionally unbalanced. I see a lack of trust in yourself and in others. I see feelings again of unworthy and undeserving of even self-care. So going back to kind of like this depression, right? And she maybe, to me, she looks a little like, she's got her hair's all messed up and stuff. So maybe you're not taking very good care of yourself right now, as you're going through this depression or this grief. And also when I say emotionally unbalanced, I don't necessarily mean like you're crazy or anything like that. I mean, usually when you hear emotionally unbalanced, there's a negative association with that, but I just mean that I see this as you're just kind of in a dark place right now in your mental health. Going back to that depression and that grief. I will also say really quick with this that with that emotionally unbalanced, what that can also mean is, I know for me personally, I have depressive disorder. So even when I don't, that means for me, I have a chemical imbalance. I have a video where I talk about my mental health that I can link if you want to see it, if you haven't watched it already. But I have a chemical imbalance, and so that means that I can, become severely depressed, but literally for no reason. It's a chemical imbalance that the serotonin or whatever the chemicals that keep you happy, keep you balanced, they are depleted. They're naturally depleted, and in order to function throughout my day and not just be overcome and overwhelmed by crushing depression, I am on medication. I do other things. I do meditate. I do self-care. I do prioritize self-care. I have positive self-talk. I have affirmations up the wazoo. But because of this chemical imbalance, I still need something on a chemical level to kind of, help balance me out. And so that may be your case too, that if you're going through feelings of depression and hopelessness, but you don't know why, there's no reason for it that you can think of. There's no, you didn't lose your relationship, you didn't lose your job, maybe your home life is great, and yet you still have these, this crushing depression. It could be because of a chemical imbalance. Okay, so moving on to the last card, which is Chemuel's guidance to the situation. Okay, so we'll put this right here, embracing. Okay, so with this card in this particular reading, I see this as sort of an embrace who you are. So so embrace who you are, cultivate self-love, ask for help. So as we're talking just real quick about with the King of Cups here, and that, even if it's not a chemical imbalance, right? Look, you could still seek out help. So seek out a therapist, seek out a counselor, or if you do think that there's a possibility that you have a chemical imbalance that you may need medication for, seek out a doctor. Just sit down and talk with a doctor, see what's going on. So ask for help. I would also say, along that same vein, to allow others to support you. And so even if it's, maybe you just need to talk to a friend, right? Ask for help, and allow, those who are your support system to support you. Okay, so that's all I have for you guys. We'll be moving on to group number 4. All right, so now we are finally on group number 4. All right, so we're starting with the Angel of Creativity. She will be giving you your message today. So this angel assists with unlocking and unblocking your creativity and self-expression, and she also works with your inner child. Okay. Yoga and flowers. So these two will be together. All right, so I see that your creative energy is closed off. I see feeling disconnected from spirit and spending too much time focused on earthly matters and stresses. I see a need to reconnect with spirit through a spiritual practice, meditation, yoga, to get real specific. I see that right now or in the near future, you're kind of all work and no play. And I see with the flowers, especially here, that there's a need to get out in nature and just de-stress. I'm seeing just so far with just these two cards, I see that you seem to be just stressed as all get out. And you need to chill out a little bit. Okay, so let's get into the details here. So the next card. Okay, giving and receiving. Okay, so I see a need for work-life play balance. I see you really need to take some replenishing time. Sorry about that, my camera turned off. So as I was saying, so I see a need to replenish yourself. I see that you're giving too much of yourself in some or all areas of your life. I see you really need to take some self-care, some quote-unquote me time. You need some self-nurturing. You're just giving. And you need to allow yourself to kind of give back to yourself, allow yourself to receive some of that nurturing energy. Okay, next card. So this is what I will see as what's blocking you. Okay, so I see, okay. So this is your block. This is what's blocking you. So I see, so with this, in regards to these, these cards here, I see that you're feeling taken advantage of and unappreciated. You're giving and giving. You're giving all, you're giving all of your energy and all of your time, and you're feeling like you're being taken advantage of and that no one's appreciating it. I see that you're overworked. And also with this gratitude here, I'm also seeing that you're kind of seeing only the problems. You're not really, seeing your blessings. You're just really focused in on what's not working and focusing on the problems and just focused on, that unhappiness, and, maybe all the things that you don't have. And you're not really taking the time to be grateful for what you do have. Okay, so we'll go. Next card is the Five of Swords. Okay, so again, going back to the cards before it, I see something of like an inner conflict. So sort of having these, maybe you've had this thought of, if I take care of me, I'm neglecting blank. So maybe you feel like, you'll be neglecting, your family or your work. I also see, especially in regards to what we're talking about with the gratitude, and feeling taken advantage of. So I'm seeing that there's some feelings there of resentment. You're feeling resentment, and feeling like no one cares if you're taken care of. You're so busy taking care of everyone else, and you're feeling that resentment of, okay, so I'm taking care of everyone else, but do they care if I'm taken care of? no one's kind of, it's going back to this giving and receiving, that you don't really feel like, you feel like you're giving all of yourself and no one seems to be, returning that to you. And there's a resentment as a result. Okay, this final card is the guidance from the Angel of Creativity. Okay, so this is the guidance that's helping you to work through the rest of this. Okay, so straight out the gate, I see a need to prioritize self-care. Again, going kind of back to this, the yoga and the flowers here, of taking time to commit to a spiritual practice of some kind. Now, that doesn't mean, spiritual practice doesn't mean like going to church, being religious, or if that's not your bag. I mean, it could be something, as simple as, a yoga practice or a meditation practice. I also see, in regards to this prioritizing of the self-care and kind of de-stressing, sort of something that'd be beneficial for you would be to journal, and again, or meditate if that's more your thing, to visualize. Also, going back to this gratitude card, you may, if you don't already, you may want to start a gratitude journal. Just, every day, maybe at the beginning of your day or the end of your day, just, write down all and really feel all the things that you're grateful for that happened that day. Or, even just even just being grateful, even if you're like, okay, well, I had a shit day, I have nothing to be grateful for. Okay, well, maybe you can be grateful for your health, if you have your health, or just grateful that you're breathing, that you're alive. You can start with like something as, powerful, but as basic as just being grateful for your breath. Again, going back to, I think it was the flowers one, where you need to take some me time in nature. And I think, I forget where, I think it was with the Five of Swords. So when you're looking just at, your problems, and you're just kind of stuck in the problem. So we're looking at maybe, looking for some creative solutions to those problems. Try to do some problem solving rather than just looking at the problem itself and seeing what's not working. And going back into, this creativity here, to maybe take up an enjoyable hobby, something that's going to help you just sort of de-stress. So maybe, maybe you're into, drawing or painting or writing or music, just doing something that that's just for fun, that's just to help you de-stress. Because I see here that it looks to me like you are stressed as hell. And so you really just need to take some time for you, and that, cultivates relaxation and joy. Just do it for the fun of it. So yeah, so that's all I have for you guys for this month. I hope you found it helpful. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.